So, Wave 5 for the Mario Kart 8 DLC Booster Course Pass just came out, and it just added 8 new tracks and 3 new characters. Let's start with the characters. So you got Petey Piranha, Kamek, and Wiggler in this pack. I know people were really excited for Petey Piranha, since he hasn't been in a Mario Kart game since Double Dash. Wiggler hasn't been in a Mario Kart game since Mario Kart 7, and a lot of people have wanted Kamek in a Mario Kart game before, just because. These are all cool picks. I really wanted them to add more kart customizations as well, but you get what you get. So let's get on to those courses. First course in the Feather Cup is Athens Dash. Now, I find this city stage to be really cool because it's not as much of a city as more of a historical site. And it's very historically accurate. It has this Colosseum thing, this Parthenon I think it is, some sort of amphitheater. It's pretty cool to run through this city/historical site. These gold statues are a really cool thing to look at when you're starting the race, and it has a few challenging turns. I really like that Athens Dash has like this elevation thing going on. Like you start on this like high up temple in this hill, and then you like fall down to the ground, and then you like go up these stairs, and then there's a glider section that goes over this town. It's really cool. On the graphics side, I wouldn't say it's too great. The closest comparison to a ruined city is Thwomp Ruins, and I would say that looks a lot better than this. But honestly, you won't notice this while you're racing. It was more just me looking back at the footage and comparing it to Thwomp Ruins. Overall, solid city track. I don't think it's my favorite, but it's up there. Next up is Daisy Cruiser. Now this is a really good track. It has this shiny, colorful look to it. And I really like that it almost looks like it could be a track in base Mario Kart 8. Now, I'm no expert in graphics, so I might be missing a few things, but honestly, while I was racing through, and even looking back at the footage, it looks pretty good. The shortcut is still a little jank, but it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of how the shortcut's always been. The interior got a big glow up from past Mario Kart games, where it was just kind of drab, but now it's just this bright, open dining room area, and it's really cool. If I had one complaint, it would be that some colors are a little less vibrant than I want them to be, like this green floor. But other than that, solid track. Ooh, now we get to a really good track, Moonview Highway. This has to be my favorite track of the wave. Let's just start with the music. The music is boppin'. It is so good. So you start, and it's these epic electronic synths that just start playing amazingly. In the first section, by the highway, road, forest area. And by the way, that forest and highway theme, I love that. I love stuff like Shroom Ridge. Moonview Highway synths are just so lively and joyous and boppin'. And then we get to the city. Once you cross into that city, that jazz starts playing, and it's probably one of the best Mario Kart songs I've heard ever. It's just amazing. And it transitions to that music well. But other than the music, does this track offer anything more? Well, yeah, it actually probably is one of the best looking tracks in this wave. It has these pretty neon lights in the city that all look really good. And the texturing is pretty good too. Not on the buildings themselves, unfortunately, but it's pretty close to being an absolutely outstanding looking track. And I've heard that the cars are a lot easier, and I guess they kind of are because they aren't as fast and frequent, but I still find myself getting hit by them from time to time. And the shortcut is actually kind of useful now since it offers a double item box, because it really isn't that fast. Overall, that's definitely my favorite track of the wave. Another real banger of a course has to be Squeaky Clean Sprint, the new track in this wave. Let's just start out with the amount of pathways in this level. There are a lot more split paths than your typical average level. Especially coming from Nintendo, this is kind of surprising. You got this upper path and lower path by the sink. I don't know if it's actually faster to use upper path, but there is item boxes up there, which can make it useful. And then there's this upper path and lower path by this like toilet thing that like sprouts up water, and you can get to the upper path and use the glider to get to those paths. And there's just a lot of stuff There's a lot of stuff in this track. A lot of soaps and band-aids and toothbrushes, bath bombs, rubber ducks. It's cool. It's odd, I will say. But it's fun. It's definitely a fun track. There's lots of vibrant colors, lots of little Easter eggs with each little thing, since you are like placed in like a big house and you're like the small character running around. It's pretty cool. And the music is, again, phenomenal. I love this joyous, celebrationist, brass kind of music. It's just cool track. Odd, but cool. Now we get on to the Cherry Cup. And the first track in the Cherry Cup is LA Laps. Now, I really like this track in Mario Kart Tour, and I still like it here, but there are some changes that, while being nice changes, I just prefer the original better. One of these changes is the music. People have their preferences in music, and it's good music, don't get me wrong, I just prefer the original with the a cappella and more electronic sounding vibe. And this is, it's not the same. It's good, it's a good track, it's just not the same. And then also it taking place during the daytime, again, it's pleasant, but I prefer the sunset or sunrise or whatever it is. But besides that, LA Laps still is a really good track. I really like that each lap is like its own separate little area and like it's diverse. So like the first lap is a beach, second lap's like, you know, more LA with the homes and the stadium. And then the third lap takes place in like this weird like minefield area. I don't know what it's actually called. I don't know if it's actually accurate to LA either, but it is diverse, I'll give it that. And I like that the paths don't intertwine a lot, because when they tend to do that, it tends to make these like awkward turns that are really awkward. And when it does intertwine, which is only a few times, the turns are nice. It also has a really clean look. I'm liking this look a lot. It's a lot like Daisy Cruiser. Overall, I prefer the original on tour, but it's not a bad track. Oh boy, next is Sunset Wilds. I got a lot to say on this one. This is not a good remake. It's so bad. First of all, it's called Sunset Wilds. The sun doesn't even set. In the original, in any remake that this has been, the sun has always set. That has been a staple of the track. And they got rid of that in the remake in Mario Kart 8. The sun just stays there. It's not, it's so bad. And on top of that, they didn't really make a lot of changes from the tour version. You can do so much more with GBA tracks. We've seen that in Cheeseland and Ribbon Road. Like, those are outstanding what they did to remake them. And then you have tracks like Sunset Wilds, where it's so flat, it's so basic. When you look at this mini-map, and you compare it to a mini-map like Cheeseland, which is from the same game, and that just says it all right there. It's just so basic and simple. This is the worst track in the wave, though. So, again, the track isn't bad, it's just disappointing. I'm disappointed. The music is nice, though, as always. That's a positive. Next up, we have Koopa Cape. Now, I normally really like this track. I like it on the Wii version, that version being my favorite. And it's a really solid track. Really good theming, really good music to go along with it. And the music here is nice, as always. But I am once again disappointed. I feel like at this point they started to run out of time with the tracks. You just look at those ramps. Like, those are not normal ramps. I ran out of time ramps, so I just plastered these ramps here. And there's no glider right here. They removed that from Mario Kart 7. It's kind of weird. Because maybe they ran out of time. I don't know. And it does look pretty ugly without the gray walls. I do miss the gray walls. But that was kind of got removed a while ago, so not too surprised. And then there's the pipe section, which is just awful. They got removed. They removed all the challenge. It's short. The track is just short now. And I feel like I'm the only one that's going to point this out, but the track feels a lot more condensed. Like, there's not a lot of room to operate. I mean, you compare this to the Wii version, and it's just wide. The track is wide. But like, especially in this pipe section, and even in the river, like, it's so condensed. Like, why? Like, it's just so small. Like, I feel like having more space to like drift would make it a lot more enjoyable of a track. Once again, I am just baffled that they didn't spend more time on this track. And the last track for this wave is Vancouver Velocity. It's a pretty alright track. It's not one of my favorites, but it does look really nice. This track probably has the best texturing in the wave. Like, the textures just are good. It truly is probably the best looking track of the wave. I just like Moonview Highway better. I'm just a sucker for that track. Vancouver Velocity has this nice anti-grav section, which is cool because it kinda is not flat. It's kinda actually anti-grav, which is nice. And I'm a real sucker for like stadiums and sports, and this hockey rink is really cool. I like that you drive through it twice, so you get to look at it twice. That's cool. You got this cool park area. You got this other cool places like this bay area, which is cool. It does have a bad lap 3. I mean, you like go through this tunnel, which is cool, I guess. There's not really a lot in it. Then you go through the city, and then you're just back on the lap 2 route. Overall, I really think they should have put like the new track or Moonview Highway as the like finisher track, but this isn't bad. I know this track has a lot of followers, so it's a good track. So honestly, I would say this wave is kind of a little disappointing, but also kind of cool. I mean, like the Feather Cup is definitely the best cup we've had, in my opinion, but the Cherry Cup it's not that good. I mean, Vancouver Velocity's good, and so is LA Laps is pretty alright. I prefer the original. And then the other 2 tracks are just disappointing. So, overall, I would say play the Feather Cup at least. So yeah, that was my review of Wave 5. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys for Wave 6.